go through some yarn choices for the Textured Floor Pouf. I've just redone this video to show you how to make an insert to go into the poof. So for this poof that I'm making, I am going to use 1 strand of Bernat Softee Chunky and 1 strand of Bush Yarns Glaze. This is for my daughter's room. We've just finished redoing her bedroom and she's wanting something with a little bit of glitter. So I'm going to combine these 2 yarns here, and I'm using a 9mm crochet hook. So what I wanted to let you know is that you can use so many different yarn options with this pattern. So the original pattern, I used a bulky cotton yarn, which you cannot order online and only comes in stores as a special. So I definitely want to give you some alternatives. So this is Sprightly Yarns acrylic wool. I love this yarn. It's really thick. And also Bernat blanket yarn. So what I want to show you here is the difference. These are all super bulky 6 yarns. But as you can see, the Chunky is a 6, but it is thinner than these yarns. So if you were to only use 1 strand of this, you are not going to get as thick a stitch. So adding a yarn like this is really going to bulk it up and make it not so holey. These 2 yarns, on the other hand, are both very similar in thickness. The blanket might be a little bit thicker, and I would use an 8mm crochet hook like the original pattern for these yarns. If you want your stitch to be even tighter, drop down a hook size. If you want it thicker, then you could go with 3 strands of worsted weight yarn, and that would give you a really nice thick poof like what we're gonna have here. So I just wanted to go over that with you first. So don't be limited by your yarn choices. Really just use whatever you like, whatever colors work for your bedroom or the room you're putting the poof in. Okay, so we're gonna make a quick and easy liner. So you're gonna need 2 pillowcases. And I've already started here. You just want to rip apart your pillowcase at the seam. Do this for both pillowcases, and you're just going to want to go all the way down to the end, leaving the bottom closed. Once you get going, you can pull this and rip it to make it go faster, or use a seam ripper. To just rip that apart. Okay, so my pillowcase has been ripped all the way down, and now I'll start on the next one. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is we're going to create a jumbo size pillowcase. So first thing is to put your pillowcase inside out. And what we're going to do is sew this all together. So lining up the bottoms and then sewing up this side. So you can either hand sew this together or use a sewing machine. I prefer to use a sewing machine because it's much quicker, but if you don't have a sewing machine, don't be limited by that. You can certainly hand sew it. It is going to take you a little bit longer, but just take your needle and thread. I'm just going to demonstrate. Make sure you knot that a few times at the start. Okay, so I've sewn my entire pillowcase. So now we have basically a jumbo size pillowcase that will be big enough to hold all of our stuffing for our poof. Okay, so let's get started on the poof. So I've got 2 strands with my 9mm crochet hook, and I've pulled my yarn from the center of the ball to help with tangling. So the first thing we're going to do is a magic circle. So this is how I thread the yarn, and now you want to wrap your tail around your finger 3 times. Take your hook and you just want to slide it through all of them, and then grab the first and pull it through. Now chain 2. See, we have this ring. This chain 2 will not count as a stitch, and we're going to do 10 double crochet into this ring. So to do a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, go through the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, go through the ring, pull up a loop. So now we have 3 on the hook. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we have 2 double crochet. So we want to do 10 of these. I'm going to try and keep this video a little slower than my first. This is an intermediate design, but a lot of beginners are attempting it. So I'm going to try and go slow for you. Pull through 2. Okay, so now I have 3. Now I'm going to do the rest off camera, so pause the video and then finish doing your 10 double crochets into the ring, and then we'll meet back up together to join. Okay, so I have 10 double crochets in my ring. Now move your work out of the way, and we're going to pull our tail. We want to make this ring tight. So as you can see, I've got a sparkly and a bulky strand that's going in. So you want to take those and pull them, and then take your tail, and then it will pull these 2 back in. Okay, so now we have a nice tight circle. That's why I like to use the magic ring, because it does really pull it in nice and tight. So now we're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet. So see the top loops here? That is what you're going to slip stitch, not to the chain, up to the top of that first double crochet. So you grab your yarn and pull it through, and then pull it through the loop on your hook. So now you're joined. Okay, so I suggest downloading the pattern and following along with the pattern. So we're on to round 2 next, and we're going to chain 2. And this chain 2 will now count as a stitch here and throughout the pattern. So we are going to work 1 front post double crochet into our first stitch here, the post of the stitch. So to do a front post double crochet, you're going to yarn over, then you're going to go down under here, under that stitch. Okay, then you yarn over, grab your yarn, pull it through. So now you've got 3, and then pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So it's work like a double crochet, but we're going around this post. Okay, so now to do our increase, we're going to add a double crochet right into the next stitch. So we're sort of inserting that in between the posts we're going to make, because each stitch we're going to make a front post double crochet. Between each of those posts we're going to do a regular double crochet, and that's how you get that sort of rib textured look that we're going for with this poof. So under the stitch, yarn over, pull through. So now we have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to insert another double crochet. And then we're going to work a front post around this next post here. So now I've also rewritten the pattern. If you've watched the first tutorial, I am a self-taught crocheter. So a bit of time now has passed since I wrote the first pattern, and my technical ability has improved significantly. So I've tried to be more technical with the second pattern. So I hope you enjoy it. So now I'm just going to keep repeating this all the way around. So here's another double crochet. And then we do a front post into that next stitch. I've worked all the way around, and I finished here with a front post double crochet, and we won't end with a double because our chain 2 here is counting as that double crochet stitch between the posts. So we are going to slip stitch to the top of the first front post double crochet to join. Okay, so now we're going to have 20 stitches at the end of this round, and we're moving on to round 3. So chain 2. This is going to be another increase round. So we're putting 2 double crochets between all of the post stitches, and that's going to increase this round by another 10 stitches. So we're going to start out by putting a double crochet between, right in that chain 2 space beside the front post. So now we're going to do a front post double crochet around the post, the first post. Okay, and we're going to increase here in this stitch. So we're going to put 2 double crochet into that stitch. So there's 1. And 2. Okay, so now we've done that increase. So then work a post around the next post. Okay. And do 2 double crochet in that next double crochet stitch. So this is just repetitive, so nothing changes. We just work this all the way around. We're going to end with a front post double crochet in that very last post. So I will meet you when I reach the other side. Okay, so I've worked all the way around, and I've finished with my front post double crochet right here. So now we're going to slip stitch in the first double crochet to join. And we're going to chain 2. Okay, so this is another increase round. So we're going to go from 30 stitches up to 40 stitches in round 4. So we're going to begin by working 1 front post double crochet into that first double crochet stitch. So go down under this stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we want to insert a double crochet between these 2 posts. So let's add that double crochet stitch. So this is keeping with our pattern, our textured look pattern. And now we'll do a front post double crochet into that next post. This is the trickiest round, so you might want to follow along with your pattern. So now we're going to insert another double crochet right beside that front post, and now we're going to do a front post double crochet into that next double crochet stitch. So go down around the post, and now we're going to do a double crochet in that double crochet that's already here. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet into that next post. Okay, so I'm going to go through that again with you just because this is probably the most confusing round. So you're going to want to insert a double crochet stitch, and then we have our 2 double crochet stitches here. So the first one, you want to do a front post around it. And then just a double crochet into the next. So no changes with that stitch. And then a front post double around the next post. Okay, and you just repeat that around. So I'm going to meet you back up on the other side. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. I've finished with front post, and we are going to slip stitch into that very first front post double crochet to join. And chain 2. So now round 5 is another increase round. So we're up to 40 stitches right now. And we are going on to round 5, which will increase us to 60 stitches. So we'll be jumping up by 20 stitches. So we're going to want to do a non-increase round after round 5 to kind of make up for that significant jump in stitches, okay? Because each round we're looking at only going up by 10 stitches to keep our nice circle. Okay, so we're chaining 2. Round 5 is going to go like round 3. It's a little bit easier than the last round we did. So we're going to work 1 double crochet into the chain 2 space between the post and the chain. Okay, so this round now we're going to be placing that we have 2 double crochets between the posts. So 1 front post double crochet, and then we're going to put 2 double crochet, work 2 into that stitch, go right back in, 2 doubles, and then work a front post double crochet into the next post. And then we will work 2 double crochet into the next double crochet stitch, and then 1 front post in the next. So you just repeat this now all the way around, ending with the front post double on the other side. Okay, so I've worked all the way around, and we have 60 stitches now. Okay, so I've ended with my front post. We're going to slip stitch into our first double crochet, Okay, so our next round, we are not increasing. So this is going to be a non-increase round, chain 2. So we are just going to follow in each stitch. So we'll do a double, a front post, 2 doubles, a front post. So you're just working in each of your stitches around, following the same pattern with the no increases. So 1 double crochet, and then a front post double crochet, and a double crochet in each of the next 2. A front post double crochet into the next post. And so this is all you're going to do, is just repeat this all the way around. Okay, so I have completed round 6. I finished with a front post double, and we're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet to join. And then we're going to chain 2. Okay, so we're on to round 7. So we're going to work 1 front post. This is another increase round, so we're going to be going up another 20 stitches again. So 1 front post double crochet into that first double crochet stitch. And then we're going to insert a double crochet. Okay, so this is like round 4. So we've already been over this, so I won't go as slow through it the second time. So front post, and now we're going to insert a double crochet, and then we're going to do a front post in the first of the 2 doubles. And a double crochet into the next. And then a front post double crochet. Insert a double. And then a front post in the first of the 2 doubles. So just keep repeating this, follow along with your pattern, and I'll meet you at the other side. Okay, so I'm just finishing up round 7, ending with a front post double crochet in that last post. So we're going to slip stitch into the first front post double to join. Okay, and now let's take a look at the gauge here before we go any further. So at the end of round 7, my diameter is about 11.5 inches. So let's count how many rounds in 4 inches. Okay, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're looking at 5 rounds. And let's check the number of stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 stitches. So that's what I'm doing. Again, gauge is really not a huge deal. It's just going to depend what size poof you're going to get. So if you want your poof a bit larger, you know, doubling up bulkier yarns and using a bigger hook is going to get you a bigger poof. If you're using, let's say, only one strand of this and a smaller hook, you're going to get a smaller poof. So you can easily change up the size you're going to get based on the yarn and hook you're using. So for this, a 9mm crochet hook and 2 strands of bulky, I'm getting, this is my gauge. But please don't be limited to these, what I'm using. Use whatever you want, whatever you have, and whatever colors work for you. Okay, so we're on to round 8. So let's chain 2, and this is a non-increase round again, because our last round we jumped up 20 stitches. So we would I want to do another round here, not increasing, to keep with that 10 stitches per row equation that I'm looking at for my pattern. So no increases here. We're just going to work into the stitches as we go. So the first one's a front post, so let's do a front post. And then we have 1 double. And then we have a front post. So this is our pattern, a front post, a double, and we're just gonna work in each stitch all the way around. So again, pause your video while you work, and then we'll meet you back up on the other side. Okay, so I've run out of yarn. I'm bringing in my new yarn. Okay, so just place the new yarn beside the old. Wrap it around your thumb twice. And on the third time, just go between the thumb and the tails. Okay, and tuck your tails underneath, and then just pull. And I like to hold my tails down with my thumb. So there we have a nice strong knot. And then we'll just keep going. Okay, so I finished round 8, and now I'm just going to slip stitch to join. And now we're on to our last increase round, which is round 9. So we're going to begin by chaining 2. Okay, and we're going to work 1 double crochet in the chain space. And then we're going to do a front post double into the first post. And then we're adding 2 double crochet into the next double crochet stitch. 1, going right back in the same stitch. And then a front post double. And then 2. Okay, so the pattern for the poof is going to be 2 doubles, a front post, 2 doubles, a front post, and 2 doubles. So you're going to repeat this increase pattern all the way around. And then going from rounds 10 to 27, they're all going to be non-increase rounds. So you're just going to be working in each stitch. So a double, front post, and then 2 doubles, and so on. So we have a little bit of work cut out for us until we're going to meet back again. So finish your increase round and then work 18 non-increase rounds, And then I'll show you how my poof is looking as I get into those non-increase. We'll start to see the shape of our poof form. Okay, so I'm into 14 rounds of non-increase. So my poof is getting really, really big. Here's the center. So it's a really good size. If I measure just across the top, not stuffed, I'm measuring about 21.5 inches. And I'm just going to work through a non-increase round with you. Bring up my desk a little bit. So I've already chained 2. Doing a double crochet into the first, a front post into the next, and then a double in each of the next 2. Front post in the next. And then we have a front post, or two doubles in the next 2, and a front post, and then just continue this. So this is a good project to just sit in front of the TV and just work away on watch your favorite show or movie, and just, whoops. You don't really have to think about it at this point. You just work your stitches as you need to. So I'm going to finish up my next 4 rounds. Okay, so I've worked 18 rounds. So now we're going to begin our decrease rounds. So I've chained 2. Now we're going to skip over our first double crochet and go right into doing a front post double. And now we want to decrease these 2 doubles together. So to do a decrease, we're going to yarn over, go through the first stitch, pull up a loop, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now we'll do another front post double crochet. And then we'll decrease the next 2, so yarn over, go through, pull up a loop, go right into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so this is what we're going to do all the way around. So just keep repeating what I've shown you, and we'll meet back up at the end. Okay, so I've worked all the way around, ending with a front post double crochet. Now we're just going to slip stitch into the top of that first front post double to join, and then chain 2. And our next round, we're just going to work in each stitch around. So this is not a decrease round. So you'll just want to do a front post, double into that first post, and then do 1 double crochet into the next, and a front post, and then a double in the next. And you're just going to work like this all the way around. So I'm going to complete the rest of this off camera and then I'll meet you back. So as you can see, it's getting pretty big. We're starting to pull it in a little bit. So soon we'll be able to start to stuff the poof. Okay, so I've completed round 29 and now we're on to round 30. So this is another decrease round. I'm actually going to do this round differently than my first video, and I've wrote this out differently. I hope it makes a little bit more sense. So this pattern now, what we want to have is 2 double crochet stitches, a post, 2 double crochet stitches, and a post. So what I'm going to do, this counts as my first double crochet, skip our first front post, and we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next double crochet stitch. And now we're going to do a front post, okay, and we're going to do a double, and we're going to skip this front post and do another double crochet in the next double crochet stitch. So now we've eliminated this post. We'll do a front post double crochet into the next, one double crochet into the next stitch, skip the front post double crochet, and we'll do 1 double crochet into the next double crochet stitch. One front post double crochet, and then we're just going to repeat this all the way around, and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet to join, and chain 2. Now we're on to round 31. Now 31, we won't be doing any more decreases. We're just going to work in the stitches we've made around. So we're going to work 1 double crochet into that first stitch, and then we're going to work a front post into that first post, and now we're going to do 2 double crochet. So 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 double crochet, 2, and then we're back to our post, and we'll do 1 front post, and so you're just going to repeat this all the way around. So 1 double crochet in each of the next 2, you're working into those double crochets from the previous round, and then working 1 front post double crochet. So just repeat this all the way around. And what we're going to do is go inside here and weave this end in before we go too far, and we're also going to add our insert in next. Okay, so I've worked my way all the way around, finishing with the front post. So let's just slip stitch to join. And then we're going to want to weave in that end. You can pull it inside out. I'm just going to pull up this section to weave that. Okay, so you're going to want to use a yarn needle for bulky yarn. To weave your end, you just want to push through in one direction, and then you just want to go back into the opposite. If you're struggling to get it through like I was, you could even go one strand at a time. I think that the sparkly kind of catches, makes it a little more difficult. There we go. And then just trim. So another alternative to putting a liner would be to stuff your pouf with pillows. You could do pillows, you could do a cheap duvet cover. So I purchased these really inexpensive standard pillows from Walmart. These were $3.47, so they weren't that expensive. So you can put that in there. And then the next one I would put in the opposite direction. And tuck them all down to try to get that rounded look on the bottom. And then the next one, go in the opposite direction again. And that's 3. So it's not going to form as well as if you just stuff it, but if you fiddle with it, you can get it looking pretty round. And I would actually do a 4th and go this way so that it sort of puffs out those sides. So once you get them all in, you can squish them around and try to get that good round shape that we're going for. So that is another option if you don't want to have to do a liner or buy the stuffing. But I'm going to take these out for now. Okay, so we have our insert. So put that inside, and then what we can do is just start stuffing. Okay, so using my needle and a strand of yarn, I've weaved the yarn all the way through. So make sure you have a section open on this side and that side of the pillowcase. Okay. You can just pull that close for now. I'm going to add more stuffing later. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I've been asked several times about making this that it could have a drawstring so that it can be taken off and washed. So we don't want to decrease it too much. Like this is a pretty good size hole, so I may decrease it a little bit more, but let's just do another round of non-decreases. So we're just going to go a double crochet in the first, a front post double crochet in the next, and then one double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then a front post. So we'll just continue like we did our last round. So round 32 will be the same as 31. So I'm just going to complete that and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I finished round 32. And now we're on to round 33, and I'm going to do one final decrease round. If you want to decrease this all the way down and close it right in, you can check out my first video, or I'm going to leave that option in the pattern as well. So if you download the pattern, you can check out how to close the poof all the way. So what we are going to do first is skip this stitch, and then we'll go right in and do a front post double crochet, and now we're going to decrease these 2 doubles. I'm just going to move my desk so we're a little closer again. Okay, so yarn over, go through, pull up a loop, go right into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and then go, yarn over and pull through 2. So there's our decrease, and now we're going to do a front post double crochet. Okay, and so now we're going to do another decrease. Go right in the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and pull through 2. So we're just going to continue this all the way around. And then I'll meet you back. Whoops. Okay, so I've finished that round, and now we're on to round 34. So 34, we're just going to work in each stitch around, no decreasing. So front post double crochet, okay, and then a double crochet into the next. Front post double crochet, and a double crochet into the next. And we're going to work that all the way around. Okay, so I've finished round 34. So let's chain 2 and do one more round the exact same. So round 35 will be the same as round 34. Front post, do a double, and front post. I will complete this round and then show you how to do the drawstring to pull this in tight. Okay, so I finished this round. So my suggestion is if you decide to go with a pillow method, you might not want to decrease down to the 40 stitches. You might want to leave it at 60 so you have a little bit more room to get in and out. Now what I'm going to do is open this back up and finish putting my stuffing in. You really want to stuff these as much as possible so that you get a nice firm poof. Okay, so let's weave in that final end. I like to try to take it in onto the inside, if possible. And then go back in the opposite direction. Then we can just trim that. Okay, and for our drawstring, I want to take one of each strand. Make sure it's nice and long. Take your needle. And you can go in at basically any spot that you want. Now what we're going to do is go through the front loop of the stitch, making sure we leave a decent tail. I'm not sure how long of a tail we're going to need, so let's just make sure we have lots to work all the way around. So you're just going to want to thread through the front loops all the way around. Okay, so I've gone all the way around. You can adjust your ends at this point. Push that down really well. Because it's stuffed so full, it is going to be tough to pull it closed. Gonna knot it here. Then you can just tie it You can trim your ends a bit if needed. So you can just double knot that and then just shove it all into the hole. And this is going to be the bottom, so we're not going to worry so much about that. So if you take a look at the top, it looks great. It's nice and full. So finished. This poof is about, I would say, 23 to 24 inches. And my height is about 14 inches.